About 10 years ago, I saw this diagram of the path of the International Space Station and immediately began to question it. I'd always questioned it. A couple of years back, I made this discovery, and just recently I decided to make a little graphic of it and a little video of it. Now that there's a little bit of an audience out there, thank you all. So here we go. I want to show you how I came across this and what this really means. There's a lot here, and I'm surprised no one's covered this before, so it's time. But just to show you that throughout my art career and life, I've used many different forms of maps. This is 1,250 endangered animals forming the map that you'll see the ISS follow. This is the extinction map, 333 extinct animals of Earth, and using the other map that I'll follow in this diagram. Plus, I've also done tons of art with just different structures of the universe, like this one, which is a totally different map. I've even created a map based on the Srimad Bhagavatam of Jainism, and it's incredible. In general, drawing potential structures of the universe is an incredibly amazing concept to stretch your imagination and really just wonder where we are in this place. So here we go, back to this. This map and this page, these are all official NASA pages and NASA connected pages, show the path of the space station as it travels up and down our world. So it goes up, it shows about an hour and a half ahead of time and an hour and a half behind. So you can always see where the ISS has been and where it's going, which is very awesome because you divide that by 24 and you get 16, which will come in handy later. But I've always wondered how this can go, up from Europe down to Australia, then back up. Yet it's an object following inertia in space going around a sphere. So it never really made sense to me. It always seemed like inevitably it would go up and over Antarctica and whatever was down there. If it would keep rotating around the Earth, it would just kind of keep going. I don't understand how it would propel itself and go these different directions, or what seems like different directions. Then, as time went on, I discovered the whole flat Earth concept, which had always been kind of an interesting thought. My first band was called Hollow Earth, and so it's always been an interesting thought of mine. But these maps, this is a CBS map, I believe, so it was mainstream knowledge at one point, and these are aeronautical maps, and they are how the world, how pilots really look at the world from up there, which is very telling as well because they need to know this stuff, and this is it as well. The Gleasons map, this is one of the most famous ones, and connecting, I always wanted to know how that concept of the ISS, the up and down parabola, met with this, and so I tracked it a while back, and I kind of just did every hour, because these are all divided into hours, and the other things divided into hour and a half, so I can it all ends up kind of linking together. But this is the most other telling sign of the power of this map, because the UN, the United Nations, uses it as their logo right there with the grid and the leaves around it and whatnot, and they're putting it right in everyone's face. And this is an accurate map, and it points to a lot of different things, showing that a wall looks like a wall is around us and that we are just a small part. I really believe we are just a very small part of a gigantic sphere that's 6 billion miles wide or more, who knows, but very high, very low, all different dimensions. Oh man. Whatever its true shape is, it is magic, it is awesome, it is perfect, and it's just great to think about. And then this is another site that just shows the ISS tracker still forming that parabola shape, going up and down, little different increments each time, which makes sense, and but not on this map. It just doesn't make sense on this map. And the next one will show another ISS video, just show that there's all these different ones. This shows the path, or what's underneath the ISS. So at this point, it happened to be traveling over ocean. But, and all these things tell the altitude, they tell the speed. It's always very fast, like 17,000 miles an hour. And, it's always going very quick, like 4 miles a second or something like that. It's always 259 miles or around that up. And so it's very, they're all the facts are connected. But it just has to be shown the other part. And this is also the site. This is the main site where I got the image, and you can see how it just slowly, kind of incrementally moves and takes that path. All these sites are on it. All these official NASA sites are on track with the same information, the same map, the same everything. I'm just curious why it never goes over Antarctica. But here we go. Let's get into the pattern that it follows. So to understand what's going on here, the path on the left I traced at pretty much every half hour or every hour. It looks like they split it up into 2-hour parts. And then on the right I did the same thing. I plotted where that one on the left is on the right. And so it turns yellow to red, and the yellow is the very beginning. The red is where the ISS is on the map. Boom, right there. And then after that it kind of cycles back. So there's a little skip right here, and then it goes to the yellow. So this yellow is an hour and a half before the red, and then the red follows the path for an hour and a half, and then it goes back to the beginning. So you can kind of see each one kind of goes a little bit. It gradually changes, it gradually adjusts. It's a very smooth, beautiful pattern, really. And on the right, the big part of the thing is that it forms a circle. On the aeronautical flat Earth map, this path of the ISS forms a circle, which could point towards an electromagnetic thing of some form. I remember at a Tesla convention, I once saw a guy take a flat plane and an electromagnetic ball, and it floated and hovered right around it, just like this, in different circular patterns. And this one, our Earth, is one that is very complex, and this pattern that it follows actually ends up forming a flower of life style pattern in 16 ways because of the hour and a half thing. So I'm not sure if it gradually always is changing its placement and going over a different increment over time, or if it's always a 16 different patterns, 16 different revolutions. But either way, it is pointing towards something interesting, because this also is the similar pattern to a lot of the flat Earth diagrams that show what our sun and moon do in different patterns, and the patterns that different planets form over this kind of over this diagram. And in general, even in space, like all these things kind of are supposedly rotating at different formulas and different degrees and designs and everything. It leads towards some immaculate stuff. It really, really does. And this is I plotted out a 16 circular path into a circle that kind of orbits around this central thing, what the Hollow Earth or Mount Meru or whatever is up there in this mysterious unknown spot where things are not mapped and people don't go, apparently, that we know about. But this pattern's amazing. It's one of the most ancient patterns and found in so many different ancient cultures and artifacts and artworks around the world. It's just a natural, beautiful pattern. It's found in everything. It's found in the sunflower and all different other things. And what does this mean? Like, the ISS you can see when you look up at some point, so you can see whatever the ISS claims to be. Is it some other satellite? Is it some other mysterious planet that's in there, or is it the ISS? And just is it following that pattern? And like, it's really interesting to know or to wonder what's happening. What else is following that, or what principle does that illustrate up there? Like, what is this showing that we're not being told about? Because it seems like that's way too perfect. Whenever you find a circle, it seemed a little more realistic than kind of the parabola. They even show up in crop circles and in so many other things. It's absolutely ridiculous. There are so many mysteries around us. It is phenomenal. And if this is one part that we're showing, that we can see one circle, one circular flower of life pattern, there could be more and more all over the place. This could be a method for utilizing and heating certain zones of our extended plane and gigantic massive world. There could be so many different circles on different parts. Each one of those circles in that middle outer ring could be a whole nother place like us. And then there's different ones dancing around that, or there could be tons of suns, tons of moons. If you just keep going, different, everything could be created by something ridiculous, something just absolutely in power and incredibly genius, and basically the best artist in the history of the universe, whatever that being is or beings are. But take those thoughts and do with them what you will. It's been a long time overdue. I've been thinking about this for a while, so I wanted to show some people, whoever's out there. And lastly, just to show you all that this is 12 hours later, the path of the ISS. So you can see that instead of avoiding South America, this one goes through South America, then comes up through India and China, whereas the other one avoided it. So you can see how it would crisscross, how the pattern would keep going, and how it would continuously fill up, forming that beautiful flower. Enjoy. Keep on thinking, keep on discovering. We will find the truth someday. I know we will. And this is an app that I designed called Mandala Magic, which shows things spinning. You can actually take a picture or upload anything and spin it at a ton of different speeds. So this is what the ISS Flower of Life pattern would look like if you could zoom fast through time. These are the patterns that it would form, and if you were able to view it over millennia and millennia. So enjoy. Have a great day, everybody.